Good morning. Please rise and join us in singing We Gather Here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. We gather here to come together, to raise our voices in harmony. We gather here to pray together, to create the world we know is meant to be. We gather here, we gather here, we gather here, we gather here to create the world we know is meant to be. We gather here, we come together, celebrate the love and joy of unity. We gather here for deep connection with fellow travelers who claim humanity. We gather here to count our blessings, celebrate the love and joy of unity. We gather here, we gather here, we gather here, we gather here to create the world we know is meant to be. We gather here to come together, celebrate the love and joy of unity. Celebrate the love and joy of unity.
Please be seated. So welcome to our Sunday celebration service. Welcome to all of you in the sanctuary, and welcome also to those of you listening on YouTube and Facebook. I'm Linda Hart, and I'm your platform assistant today. Reverend Jude is up in New Jersey still visiting with family, and she will be back for the New Year's Eve service. We are blessed once again to have with us our wonderful guest speaker, John Polici. Yay! A couple things to know about John is he can take very complicated concepts and make them understandable. He also does a wisdom teaching here at 8 o'clock on Sundays and teaches or facilitates a Course in Miracles course on Mondays at 7:15. Again, welcome. Thanks for being here again, John. So we also have with us a Joyful Noise Band and Choir, and today's special music features Jen Erickson. And just a round of applause. Was Christmas Eve wonderful? Yeah. I want you to know that Doreen told me she posted a couple of the songs on Facebook and also on YouTube with Connected Souls. So if you want to see a couple of those songs, if you weren't able to be there, you were with family like we were, other family, please go ahead and you can see some of those songs there as well as the service. I'd like to welcome now any first-timers we have here today. If you're here for the first time and would like a welcome packet, we have one of those for you. You can raise your hand and keep it raised, and we will give you one of those packets. And if you're watching online, you can go ahead and send an email to us at admin@unityofstuart.org. Looks like we have more of the regulars here today, so thank you so much. We do join in the kitchen for some snacks afterwards. I don't know whether the patio is going to be good to visit, but certainly can go into the classroom and visit with folks after snacks if you'd like. We want you to know that Unity of Stuart is a welcoming, affirming, positive path of spirituality. Everyone is welcome here, no exceptions. We are treasured by your presence, and thank you so very much for being the church. A couple of announcements. There's going to be the Burning Bowl service here New Year's Eve at 6:30. And this is an opportunity to get rid of what you don't want anymore carried over to 2025. So you burn what you don't want at 2024, you write it on paper, and then envision what you want for yourself in 2025. So again, that's 6:30 on New Year's Eve. There's also going to be a white stone service next Sunday. That's January 5th. In meditation, we'll listen for what Spirit would have us focus on in 2025, and we write that down on a white stone. The Bordy of the day is, where is Peter in the back? He will be available if you have any questions about Unity of Stuart, about the board, how we do things here. Please see Peter, and if he can't answer your question, he will look to find out and then get back to you. We also have a prayer chaplain available for you to pray with if you want to bring your power of 2 to your prayer. We're going to have Jerry. Jerry Patel is going to be our prayer chaplain today, so please see him. Yay, Jerry. Please see him in the sanctuary after service if you want to bring that power of 2 to your prayer. There's also other prayer resources available. You can do silent unity call, the mothership as Jude calls it, to have prayer there, or put a prayer in the prayer box out in the foyer. All right, now it's time to dedicate our service. Today we're dedicating our service to letting your light shine. The brilliant light of Spirit shines in, through, and as me. Brilliant light has the power to illuminate everything it touches, reaching even the darkest areas. So too does divine light touch the furthest reaches and dimmest quarters of life. I remember this when the world feels dark and I long for the light. Rather than focus on what is lacking, I turn my attention to what I do have, namely the bright light of Spirit which shines within me. I reflect this brilliance into the world. If the darkness of discouragement and pessimism has descended, the light of hope and optimism can dispel it. I am a powerful spiritual being. I need not fear darkness because I bring the light, and so it is. So let's affirm our affirmation together. The brilliant light of Spirit shines in, through, and as me. And let's just take a really good deep breath. Anchor that in deep, and let's affirm together again. The brilliant light of Spirit shines in, through, and as me. As we prepare for meditation, let's sing Be Still.
1, 2.
Prepare for meditation. As you relax into the present moment, just feel your feet grounding on the floor, your bottom resting firmly in the seat, your spine nice and tall, and feeling the Spirit coming out and up through the back of your spine and through the crown of your head, flowering into a halo or a nimbus, and feeling the presence of God meeting you at the high place within your own being. As we open to receive the Spirit that descends upon us like a dove resting upon the crown of the head, we experience the light, the energy of God moving through our system, through every pore, through the nervous system and blood circulatory system, through every cell, as each cell spontaneously becomes a temple of the living light. Allowing body, mind, and spirit to be set ablaze by the presence of the Holy One as we rest under the shadow of these wings in the secret place, the silence of the heart. And just for an instant, as we make contact with the Eternal One, we have an opportunity to taste and see our own eternal nature. For only God can merge with God. Only God can know God. And we, His image bearers, have a moment where we encounter our own divinity and celebrate together this family of living light in the unity of spirit. With each inhale, we receive His grace. And with each exhale, we radiate blessing out into the world. Each inhale, receiving the abundance from above and giving joyfully as we exhale and exude His presence and the fragrance of our own divine nature. Blessing all living things. And with this divine breath, we find this peace that passes all human understanding. And so it is.
One, two, three.
live dark and cold. Where is the light? When old men hear me spending low. Where is the light? When the sun runs off to bed too soon. Where is the light? And it's nothing but the skinny moon. Where is the light? Can you tell me where is the light? Where is the light? Where is the light? Oh, the light's inside of me. When I start each morning when I rise. Where is the light? And it's dark when my eggs are fried. Where is the light? And it's all dark when off to work I go. Where is the light? And it's dark again when I get home. Where is the light? Can you tell me where is the light? Where is the light? Where is the light? Oh, the light's inside of me. It's in my skin, it's in my bones, it's in my heart, it's in my soul. The light of life, so light and golden, like a summer day. When the sun goes missing in the sky, it's rising in my eyes, chasing all the winter evil away. I'm burning bright like kerosene. Where is the light? I'm twinkling like the Pleiades. Where is the light? I'm dancing like a candle flame. Where is the light? I'm flaming like a fruit flambe. Where is the light? Can you tell me where is the light? Can you tell me where is the light? Can you tell me where is the light? Oh, the light's inside of me. Can you tell me where is the light? Can you tell me where is the light? Can you tell me where is the light? Oh, the light's inside of me. 2, 3, 4. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. That's right.
So, I'm going to talk about death and dying. Just how hard life is. That was great. Good morning, everyone. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here again, truly. Always glad and happy to help out Jude whenever I can and see your smiling faces. Going to talk about my message, really. I'm summing it up as living without labels. I think as we get on this path of awakening, spiritual enlightenment, when we come to a place like unity, it's really to find the one light behind all appearances, right? The one behind the many. And that's really what unity stands for. It's this recognition that there's really one spirit, one truth, one light, one love that's animating and healing and loving all things, right? And so we are that. Like, this is the great aha that we will all discover within ourselves, that the very nature that we think we are is an out-of-focus perspective of this one light. So when we come to unity, we're here, I would hope, to dial back in this focus of our true nature. And this is how I think unity started. I mean, I'm no scholar on the early days of unity, but I know Myrtle Fillmore had struggled with tuberculosis and other illnesses, and she was really dissatisfied with the way that normal religion was approaching this teaching of Jesus, and she saw it inspired by other teachers that her word, her thought was power. And when she aligned her word and her thought according to divine truth or divine mind, she began to actually recreate her body and mind and heal herself. And so this healing is something that's available to all of us. But one of the things that really stops us from accepting and being that testimony of the healing is that it took her 2 years of unrelenting dedication to the truth that she knew. So every day she would pray and get quiet and affirm that she was a child of God. And in that affirming and believing, her whole life changed. She healed from tuberculosis. God's power healed her. So when we live within labels, we actually cut ourselves off from this divine power and blessing because we become identified with the limited. We become hypnotized, as I mentioned in the 8 a.m. service this morning, hypnotized with our own beliefs. And so as we approach this divine healing, this divine enlightening experience, there's a lot of what we currently hold that will undergo some kind of a renovation or a dropping away, if you will, a death and a dying. And so we see this in the Bible, and I'm going to get there in a second, with the way that sometimes names are changed, right? Like Jacob, one of the early patriarchs in the Old Testament, it says that he wrestled with an angel. And in that wrestling, the angel touched his thigh, and he was a hobbler ever since that point, but his name was changed. He had said to the angel, I'm not going to let you go until you tell me who you are. The angel never told him who he was, but he told Jacob who he was. And the name was changed from Jacob to Israel. And what that change of name did was it changed his status of consciousness. And this is really at the heart of my message this morning. That when you're living in labels, you're living in that unregenerate mind, like Jacob. And you're living within the human realm, where everybody's wearing another label. Like, we're so used to being corporate billboards. Like right now, I'm looking down, I have a label. Like we see labels everywhere we go. And one of the things that we do is we identify with our group of labels and people who think like us, and then other people are labeling themselves differently. And it can become very divisive, anything but unity. And so I wanted to start off by reading a quote from St. Paul, which affirms what we were just saying about Myrtle Fillmore, when she said that I'm a child of God, and a child of God can't get sick. How could a child of God be sick? So St. Paul says something very similar. He says, I no longer live, but Christ lives in me. Now, Paul had a change of name himself. He went from Saul to Paul. He went from a murderer, angry person, to one of the greatest saints of history when the Spirit touched his life. So he recognized in that process of giving up the old identity that it's a new creation, a new identity came to take the place of the old I, or Saul. Saul no longer existed. It's now Christ that lives in me, right? So this is a major shift in consciousness. I'm going to read from Charles Fillmore's writings this morning, where he's going to tell us that heaven isn't a location. Heaven, or the kingdom of heaven, is a state of consciousness. And the only way we can get into heaven or the kingdom is our consciousness shifts. We have to go through this offering up of the old mind or the old man, another Pauline or St. Paul concept. And he says this in Romans in chapter 12. He says, don't be conformed to this world, which lives on labels, but be transformed in the renewing of your mind. Offer yourself as a living sacrifice, right? Holy, pleasing to God. Now, there's been some ink spilled on this idea of offering yourself as a living sacrifice, because this is a change of paradigm. Usually sacrifices were killed and put on the altar. The new way of thinking in this revelation of Christ is you're a living sacrifice, which means you get to either offer yourself on the altar, or if you're a living sacrifice, you wiggle and get off the altar. Right? Sometimes we don't stay long enough, like Myrtle did for 2 years, in allowing this old mentality to change. And so one of the things that we want to talk about today is how this child of God that you are has to have a change in consciousness. For he says in the book of Galatians, Paul tells us, "For we are all children of God through faith. For you were all baptized into the Christ mind," right? "Therefore, there is neither Jew nor Greek." In other words, either Jew or non-Jew, Jew or anybody else, right? All nations were considered Greek other than the Jewish nation. So there's neither Jew nor Greek, there's neither slave nor free, there's neither male nor female. For all of you are one in Christ. Now listen to how he says this then. There's no national identity. There's no class identity, right? So national identity, Jew or Greek. Class identity, slave or free, rich or poor. And there's no gender identity, male or female. You're one. You go back into the light, right? You go out of the spectrum of multicolors and you go back into the one light, where you find yourself, you find your identity. That's when you remember you're a child of God. And as a child of God, you're beyond labels. You're beyond national boundaries. You're beyond class and status. You're beyond gender. So this is the change of consciousness that Charles and Myrtle Fillmore brought into Unity. This is how we heal, by remembering ourselves, right? There's a poem from Rumi that I like to share. Many of you probably know it already. "Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I will meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. Ideas, language, even the phrase each other doesn't make any sense." So Rumi is giving us another way of looking at the same idea that St. Paul is offering. And that is, when we come home to our own divinity within the center of our heart, even this notion of otherness, that like there's somebody else other than God, is gone. So when Jesus was asked, what's the greatest commandment? He said there are two. Love the Lord your God with all your mind, heart, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. These are the greatest commandments, and they are pretty much the same, he said. And on it, all of the law and the prophets are fulfilled. All of the revelation is summed up like this. When you love the source of your life with all of your attention, all of your energy, and all of your devotion, you come to know yourself as God created you, a child of God, full of the unified light of blessing and being. Then you love your neighbor as yourself. You don't love your neighbor for their labels. You don't love your neighbor for their nationality. You don't love your neighbor for their status. You don't love your neighbor for their gender. You love your neighbor because you see the one light in them. They too are an image bearer. They too are the child of God. I'll meet you in that field. That's who I want to hang out with. I want to hang out with myself, right? Total narcissist or Christ. Either way, that's what we're doing. Now, to really drive this point home, I'm sure many of you know and love Joel Goldsmith. He wrote this book, The Master Speaks, and get a load of some of these ideas that he just explodes for us. Now, he's talking about healing just like Charles and Myrtle talk about healing. Very, very similar message. He says, unless our thought responds instantly to the fact that God is the only life, that God is all there is to individual being, and unless in our heart and soul we truly believe that, we cannot be spiritual healers. So that's the price of admission, knowing the one light. We might do some mental healing, Joel goes on to say, with a lot of mental pounding here and there, but we shall never be spiritual healers until every call for help brings out in us a sense of love. This will be a sense of love that comes not as love for a person, right? This isn't special love. This is the recognition that you love the Lord your God with all your mind, heart, and strength, and your neighbor as yourself. So he goes on to say that this is actually where there's only God and Christ. You're Christ. I'm Christ. Right? We love God in this totality of our being. What's revealed in us is the eternal self, or Christ, and we can only see in one another this eternal self in Christ. This is how we heal. This is how we remember who we are. This is the one real relationship that we can really build our life upon. So more from Goldsmith. All that can ever be accepted in my consciousness is God. God and the Christ of God, which is God appearing as the individual. So he just described the Christ. The Christ is God appearing as the individual. Whether that appearance comes as person, place, or thing, until we can stand on that ground and on that rock, we shall not be able to rightly interpret where we are or who we are. So then he says here, let us remember this. As human beings, you and I are no more Israel than the people who walked in Galilee. It is only those who in some measure arrive at spiritual consciousness, at spiritual awareness, who are Israel. Right? Now, I just digress for a moment, because when I was up here doing the meditation earlier, this candle was so strong in its heat, I thought my shirt was catching on fire, and I thought I was going to have a baptism of fire in front of everybody. And right now, it's so damn cold in here, I'd welcome that. So, back to the story. What we want to really get across again is living without labels and recognizing that the Christ is really the only individual that's here right now. Everything else, like I had said, is an out of focus, wrong way of thinking. That when we are aligned to the truth in us, we not only see God as God truly is, but we see that we are like him. We are him in his individual expressions. We couldn't want for more than that. So, again, Joel, to wrap it up here, let us not repeat these mistakes now. The only way we can avoid them is to begin here and now to forget our human birth. Let's not live in labels. To forget the human birth of everyone on earth, and to go right to the center of being and there recognize Christ, the Spirit, the presence and power of God. As we do that, we do not heal human beings. We do not enrich them, although that is the way in which it appears to the world. What we do is to bring light, to bring to light their spiritual identity, that which has always been there, but which, as in the incident of the prodigal, has seemed to have disappeared. Right? So this is the memory that we share. This is the way we overcome the labels. And this is when he finally says, forgive me. It is in this great revelation, God appearing as individual, you and me, that breaks down in our consciousness all emphasis on religion, on race, and any form of bigotry. This is the way we end the conflicts. This is the way we end the wars, the pains that we endure in our life. We see there's only one here, and we insist on remembering that one in all things. And so this is where we have our name change, right? From Jacob to Israel, from the one who's, Jacob is in the Bible a character that's always trying to connive and manipulate the situation to meet his own selfish ends, right? Jacob is a sneaky guy. His name actually means heel clutcher or supplanter. He's trying to trip up somebody so that he can get the better of them. And when his name was changed to Israel, it actually means Yashar El. It means now he's going to go straight to God. He's not going to play in the world trying to get his meaning, his value through getting labels and power onto himself. He's going to actually turn around like the prodigal, realize he's got to go home, and go straight there. No more delay. And so his name was changed because his consciousness was changed. This is the one call that goes out to the Christ in all its forms. Change your consciousness, because the kingdom is a state of consciousness, right? Charles Fillmore now, in a book that I highly recommend if you're into this kind of thing, Metaphysical Bible Dictionary. You guys probably know this. So under the entry of heaven, it says, the kingdom of heaven or of the heavens is a state of consciousness in which the soul and the body are in harmony with divine mind. Keep that in mind. Heaven is when your soul and body are in harmony with divine mind, right? Which means we undergo attunement, change, repatterning, restructuring, right? We develop. And so under the heading of Israel, Charles Fillmore says this is exactly what made Jacob have his name change. He says that the change comes when the I am power changes the natural man to make a unity between the spirit and the divine within the human. A great light of understanding breaks in the struggling soul when it discovers that there is a divine natural body, and it clings to that inner life and strength and eventually brings it to the surface in perpetual vigor. This is the significance of the blessing and the new name. So to discover what's within, it's going to be a struggle because our old person is going to resist it, right? The one that's trying to manipulate and get things through the world. But if we're up for the challenge, we stay committed, we struggle through, and we get to this place where the divine will can then manifest through us, as we were just singing. All right, my friends. I hope that brought a smile to your face. Till we meet again.
Thank you, John, and Joyful Noise. You all never disappoint. Thank you. So thank you all, too, for your continued love offering, gifts, and support to the church. We thank you also to the consistent givers. Those are the ones you see putting in the green bookmarks into the basket. We want you to know that what you do help us do the work here, and you help keep the doors open, so thank you so very much. So now you can see the different ways you can give to Unity Restored up on the slide. And now let's affirm our prosperity prayer and our love offering blessing together. In a universe overflowing with the allness of God, all the needs of unity of Stewart and those we serve are instantly, constantly, and bountifully met. From every direction, known and unknown, expected and unexpected, our abundant good comes to us now. We are grateful. Amen. And now our love offering blessing together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I give and receive always in love.
1, 2, 3.
We all give our gratitude and give thanks for the multitude of blessings given every day that help us all along the way. We give thanks for a chance to give our gifts and for the lives we live. And all the mercies from above, fill our hearts with grace and love. We give thanks.
A couple more announcements. We invite you to come for a night of community fun for game night on January 10th at 6 o'clock. Please do bring a snack to share, and you can sign up on the information table. They want to know how many tables to put up for the game night, again on January 10th at 6. Next annual meeting is going to be February 23rd. We'll report on what we did as a church, as a board, on 2024 and share our vision for 2025. Now, if you'd like to be nominated for a board position, please do go ahead and either see me or Jude when she gets back, and May has a packet in there, a board packet, if you have interest in that, to pick that up. Last but not least, while we're waiting for the kids, we have a couple big days tomorrow. My husband, John Hart's celebrating a birthday tomorrow, and yay. And also the Avitables are celebrating their 24th wedding anniversary. So big day. So when you see them, go out and say hi to all of them
Mike
when you do
Taylor's
that.
birthday today.
Whose birthday?
Mike Taylor.
Mike Taylor's birthday today. Happy birthday. Oh, my goodness. Thank you so much for the. We're a little bit early, so we're waiting for the kiddos to get in here. So we'll wait. And, oh, you're saying they're going to be just a few minutes?
So Jen is requesting if the children could be blessed from here.
Okay, into there?
Yeah, just,
Oh.
they're kind of entrenched in the middle. There's a lot of kids back there right now. And they're
Oh, yay.
entrenched in the middle of their kind of end of the year assignment project and lesson for the day.
Oh, that is so cool.
All right.
It's actually very peaceful back there. I think a lot of your message when there's 10 or 12 kids and kind of really centered on what they're doing today.
All right.
So they're going to be around.
All right, so can we stand up and let's send out some energy to them, okay?
We love you. We bless you. We truly, truly appreciate you. All the pride in you.
And let's close with the prayer for protection and then the peace song. And please be mindful if somebody doesn't want to hold your hands on the peace song, okay? Let's go together. The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we am, God is, I am divine.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
It's about right.
2, 3,
Exclamation point. Animal. Animal drummer.